I had a completely other video planned, and I actually had most of it scripted out, and I'm planning on dropping it on the main page, but there's something I've been wanting to say for a while now, and within the last few weeks, I think I finally got the courage to actually speak up about this. I have talked about this on other places, but I feel like now more than ever, on my own platform, I need to speak up about this. So let me get a few things right out of the way at the start of this video. I am going to be critical of Ant, and only Ant. I do not care about the people around him at the moment, although they will play a slight bit of a role on why I really don't vibe with him, but I am going to be critical mostly at Ant. Think of it as critiquing a movie or critiquing a video game, but I'm critiquing the YouTuber that puts out content without even actually watching the content to begin with. And going after smaller creators, well, they're one of the bigger end YouTubers in the media critique sphere. And after seeing my friends already have to deal with YouTube's nonsense, to now see an actual big creator just punching down to a smaller creator, I'm done with this. Ant had a lot of controversial friends, and he defended a good chunk of them originally before learning the truth. And he has videos that are very, let's just say, not really aged the greatest on the platform. Ant likes to talk a lot on social media, like a ridiculous amount, and this is one of my biggest problems I have with any content creator that is just all talk but minimal bite. If you're constantly making posts day after day on the same topic over and over again, I feel like you need to really take a step back and evaluate your life. And I get sometimes you have that urge to say something schmarky and get the upper hand on someone. But it's another story when one of your critics is not even at your same level, and you're trying to discredit their credibility when they are not even a threat to you. Sounds oddly familiar. I do not hate Ant. I do not think that he is the spawn of Satan or whatever. But he is a goofball online that doesn't know when to shut up and take his own advice.
Sometimes, and this is a controversial statement on the internet where everyone can say whatever they want, stopping is beneficial to the bottom line that you're trying to get to. Vital lesson to learn.
Remember the part in my early Noah video when I said this? To Anthony Gamalia, I know that there is a lot of information out there with you, and I hope that you address everything in the video that you're producing, because if you don't, it's going to be very awkward when this video comes out. Yeah, well, he opted not to do the video anyway. That video is never getting made. And if it does after this video gets made, what took you so long? Ant picks up and puts down projects a lot, and I feel like with important stuff like this, you should very much make any sort of content with it, no matter how long it takes you, just making sure you got all of your facts straight. But you discredit a lot of your critics that does have genuine points against you, and it's about time I just hold up the mirror and just basically explain my history with this guy.
Today we have a media reviewer known as Anthony Gramiglia currently crashing out on a smaller streamer known as WendyHo. Why, you may ask? Well, because he feels like Wendy speculated details of his personal life and connections with other people. Yes. Me saying feel was intentional, as right here he admits to not even watching the coverage in question before making claims about it. Truly, the peak of media literacy is upon us.
My relationship with Ant isn't as deep as, say, someone like Ollie Noah, where we were actually friends for years. Ant I really only got in contact with this year. But I was familiar with this guy back in 2025, when his video on grifters came out, and I thought it was a genuine good take on the entire subject. The problem is, looking at the people he's covered, and he uses the same verbiage as when he describes what a grifter is very flimsy, and that's where a lot of people really have problems with Anthony Gamalia. Let me make this very clear though, just because I'm being critical of Ant does not mean I support the Critical Drinker or Marlo or any of these guys. In actuality, I feel like this entire subject has just been very draining, and a lot of people on all sides have missed the plot of media critique as a whole. But a little bit after all the Ollie Noah stuff started to break out and get into the public light, 8th, Anthony reaches out to me via Blue Sky and says the following: I would like to speak with you quietly regarding Noah. What exactly is he doing? Do not mention that I'm reaching out to you. I just want to quietly collect info here. We talked for a while, and I occasionally DM'd him, asking him to talk to Noah, because both of them were on friendly terms, to stop sending his community out to get me. And it worked for a little bit there, but the problem is that Noah's community still went after me, as I've shown in my video. Obviously, I can't definitively say it was him leading the charge, but the fact of the matter that Noah hadn't really taken a stance against it, he had to have been asked by Anthony, is a little bit telling. But on the day Noah did his own live stream with me, I did reach out to him saying that Noah was slandering me on a live stream and sent someone to abuse the copyright system. And he says, I need to talk with him, that's not cool. I didn't explain the entire situation that led up to that, and then on March 18th at 12:47 a.m., I sent him the interview that Wendy hosted between me, Noah, and Cherry. And then said the following: I figured I would DM you this. Thank you again for helping me out. Maybe one day we could talk about anime or something that's not tied to this craziness. I wish you the best, man. But then on April 26th, Anthony will release this post right after the Deus Marionette situation from the early Noah drama. Hang on, Noah allegedly copyright Shrek a second channel a month ago. Why have I never heard about this before? Ant, you did hear about this. We were in DM conversations back and forth, and I sent you this. Even well before Wendy's video went live, I sent you the day Noah went live with it. You were one of, if not the first person I did tell about this outside of my immediate friend group. Wait, why am I bringing all this back up? We already moved past this, right? Well, the only reason I'm bringing this up is because you knew about the individual that was covering my story. Because just a few weeks ago, at the time of recording this video, Wendy got into a huge controversy with Ant himself.
You might be wondering how this even kicked off. Well, according to Anthony, this just appeared on his feed, but evidently from his post, he apparently got so upset about the thumbnail and title that he had to run to Blue Sky to rant about it. Saying the obsession of focus on him is bizarre, which is such a weird point, considering it's just someone covering your digital footprint. You do the same whether it's about Critical Drinker or EFAP, but whatever, I guess, it's just weird when other people do it. Then his next post is talking about Psy, which, yes, we understand Psy is biased. You two have had a public falling out, but even biased people can bring up points that may need addressing. Then Anthony goes on to complain it is 9 hours and mentions Wendy tried reaching out via email to interview them. However, Anthony frames this as it would have been an interrogation, which is weird because if you're involved in dramas, it is not unnatural for someone to reach out to you to see if you would be willing to chat about said drama.
If you look at my recent work, it's been critical of the media criticism space, or maybe you recognize me as the Wendigo that covered the diss track drama. I was wondering if I can get into a discussion/discourse perhaps, or we could talk over email or Discord. Not saying a live setting, and not saying debate at all, I was just wondering if we can find good discussions with you and others. Thanks. This is the kindest email that people in this space can send, and it's not threatening or anything like that. I've sent very much similar emails to other creators, some of whom actually got back to me in good faith. So Ant framing this as like an interrogation to get them on a live stream for 9 hours is really insane. Obviously, both Wendy and myself had back and forths with Ant on this, and at the end of the day, he is just lying to multiple of his audiences. But the biggest one came from this post right here, blaming Wendy for someone else leaking out the Discord and Wendy joining it on the principle that it was a public server. A good chunk of huge content creators do have public Discord servers. Heck, I thought the server I got invited to by Ant was a private creators Discord server, so I didn't question it. And Wendy, even after all of the slander, gave you $7 basically trying to get you to keep the money, and you still went at him for it. I get you hate people telling you off and basically like giving you actual criticism, but when you preach about, oh yeah, criticism's completely fine when I do it to other people, it's a really stupid mindset that I hate seeing in this community. If you can criticize anybody on YouTube, then you can take all the criticisms. There was criticisms about me on this platform. I do not care about them to this degree. We can have open discussions about it. I could talk about my faults until I'm blue in the face. So why can't you? Is it because I'm a small creator that has no audience that you can like kick in the face? Because that's what it feels like when there's at least someone, anybody talking about you. And obviously you won't say any of this in an actual video, but online on Twitter and Blue Sky, oh, sky's the limit. This entire space needs a soft reset and actually remember why we do the things we do here on the platform. You have people like Mr. Enter and Gaming Magic 13 that are more controversial here on the YouTube space, but they won't go this far with their type of critics. But when Gaming Magic was leaning that direction, he took accountability and made up for it, and you could see the fruits of his labor through his last few projects that he produced. Be better. That's all I can ask for these people, is to just be better. I am not your dad. I am a nobody in the grand scheme of YouTube. But if this nobody can have this common sense, how come a giant YouTuber like Anthony Gamalia can't have the common sense to not go after creators that are ridiculously smaller than him? Everybody in this space is trash. Size Scribbles, Ollie Noah, the Birdman, Skitty, everybody here sucks. If anybody calls me some type of grifter, or I'm only doing this for the view count, or I'm only covering this because you're a popular figure, I can care less if you're 1 sub, 50 subs, or 1,000 subs. If you act like a crappy human being, I will call it out for it. I want to be somebody that can actually hold up the values that they believe in. Obviously, we all fail. We all can't make 100% of our shots. But I'd much rather take all the criticism to heart and be better than run away like a coward and go after the lowest common denominator critic. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with these people. Have fun continuing to talk to brick walls with creators that won't care because they're so big. I'm so tired. I'm out of here.